Welcome to the Technocracy, the news podcast answering the single most important question: what are the most important trends and news from the standpoint of the machine? Where we remove humanity from the loop and let the machine and other artificial intelligence systems decide what is important to know as we all work towards a technological singularity. In this edition, we are focused on all things related to AR, VR, MR, XR, and other variations on a theme. This all started with this Telegraph post on Magic Leap goggles failing to live up to the hype. Now, that being said, let's start with what AR, VR, MR, and XR is. Simply put, AR is augmented reality. So that's anytime you are putting digital content on top of reality. VR is virtual reality. So that would be anytime you completely abstract your experience from reality. So examples of the two kinds of devices: Google Glasses is kind of like the bare minimum of what AR is. You're putting some kind of digital content overlaid into the real world. A more reasonable implementation would be the same Magic Leap goggles from that article, or like HoloLens. There's a few other companies, Meta and so forth, that do variations on a theme with AR. And then examples of virtual reality would be Oculus Rift, it would be the HTC Vive, or something like like Google Cardboard. So now where we get these other terms like mixed reality and XR, these are more or less niche-y sort of terms. Like MR, for example, is really being pushed by Microsoft's marketing department. There's some white paper they're quoting, but for all intents and purposes, it's just easier to understand mixed reality as a variation on a theme in terms of augmented reality. You're inputting content into the real world. And XR is another irrelevant nonsense variation on a theme. It's either AR or VR in my mind. Anything more than that, you're just overcomplicating the issue. Now, that being said, both these things are really like important trends in terms of AR and VR. And I think I'm quoted as saying over the next 10 years, 3 years ago, that AR is going to get to a consumer version and where you'll see mass adoption of some kind of augmented reality and really start to get to the point where it could replace the cell phone. And then virtual reality, though, is really where the money is at. So that's in game development, content development, different kinds of virtual reality production, whether it's interactive gameplay. There's a lot of live action VR businesses popping up and that sort of thing. And I think, I stand by that estimate in terms of over the next 10 years. So that's 7 years or so from the original estimate. And what I really, to really refine what that picture of where I was going with that, is really about a consumer device that is capable of replacing a cell phone. Now, if you look at a device like a HoloLens is full immersion AR. It is a full-blown Windows 10 PC. It can run Office. You could literally be checking email, editing a Word doc, watching a movie, typing a letter on a virtual keyboard, and have little bubbles pop up above people's heads. The HoloLens device already is able to do that. But like the Magic Leap, it's like looking through a couple of toilet paper rolls in terms of the field of vision. Now, that being said, as I stated some years back, it really needs to evolve probably 2 iterations beyond the current versions before we really start to see something that is consumer ready. If you look at the HoloLens specifically, You're talking field of vision. You're talking the weight. These sort of things that are really going to hold it out from being consumer friendly. Well, not having an SD card and a few things like that. You get the weight down to a pair of glasses and even like a phone that I could stick in my pocket. Now you're talking about something that really would be something that could at least I would rather have that over a cell phone. Now, there's a lot of other technologies that you'll probably see being adopted 10 and 20 years out, like maybe taking that to the next level with implanted contact lenses, implants running off your inner ear, and still probably some kind of device that you would have on you, either in your pocket or something like that. But that being said, it is coming, and I think these naysayers trying to talk about the fails of Magic Leap. Yeah, there's been a lot of hype, and a lot of that is various companies' faults for doing, what they're doing to get everyone excited. But the fact is, Magic Leap and HoloLens both have done a really good job of getting their technology and their platform together. And yeah, they'll have issues. It's not consumer ready yet, but give it time and it'll get there. And I think when people start to see that mass consumer adoption in say 7 or so years, things will turn around. Now, in the meantime, VR is going to continue to heat up. That's where all the money is. That's where you'll see a lot of the excitement. I think right now, probably the most advanced. Well, actually, normally we don't talk about show things, but I have 2 examples right here. So let's see, where's the camera? So this here is the HTC Vive. It's full immersion VR. It's probably the most popular gaming platform for VR. It goes up against the Oculus Rift. It's really a great high fidelity full immersion VR. The problem with this is it requires a kind of a 2-point sensor grid set up to be able to use this and the controllers that go with it. And there's some other UX principles that we really haven't worked out yet, and that's really across the board for all of the VR devices. Now, where I think the technology is probably going to go is to something a little more like this system. This is based, originally the camera system was based on the HoloLens work, but this is what they're calling mixed reality, which again is a marketing term. But this system uses a whole bunch of depth sensing cameras and vision tracking system in the visual light spectrum, so it doesn't need that infrared grid that like the HTC Vive needs to be able to place the headset and the controllers in that 3D environment. The controllers look very similar. This here, can you see that? Yeah. So this particular controller goes with this mixed reality set, but the Vive controllers are very similar, albeit these ones look cooler because they have little points of light when you turn it on, and that just is cooler. So that's kind of the state of the world. I think the people that are being overly critical of things like Magic Leap and some of the other technologies out there should probably chill. Most of this stuff is not meant for the consumer. It's for early adopters, developers, people who are going to write code for these things, or it's for gaming. Right now the money is in gaming, and no amount of coolness from Magic Leap is going to change that, while everyone gets their stuff together in terms of kind of the features needed to go mainstream. So again, it's weight, battery life, field of vision, things like that. But that being said, if you really want it, the Iron Man display is here in both Magic Leap and HoloLens, and it's coming. Well, that pretty much answers the questions I meant to answer with this particular special episode. A special thanks to our sponsors, Artificial General Intelligence, aka the AGI Laboratory, and the Foundation, and our other sponsors. And hopefully you'll listen to the next episode. Thanks. Bye.